Hi, my name is Erin Green, and this is my portfolio reflection video for English 250. And the very first question asks to reflect on what you have learned as a result of completing this project. And one of the main things that I've learned is that the organization of your document, whether that be a memo or a paper or an email, is very important when conducting yourself in a professional manner, as well as the flow and the tone of your voice, whether it be a memo or a paper, because you'd never want for your words to be misconstrued as something that completely was far beyond what your message was. So just ensuring that you are double checking what you are writing and making sure that whatever your point is, you are actually getting it across. As a very telling quote that my mom always says, say what you mean and mean what you say. And that's one of the main lessons that I've definitely learned throughout this course. And what would I do differently to improve on future portfolio projects is definitely my APA format. APA format has always been a weak point for me, so definitely ensuring that I am doing everything possible to make sure that my APA format is on point, whether that be going to the professor, going to the writing center, anything like that. Just making sure that I'm doing everything that I can so that my APA format is no longer a weakness for me. Identify and explain the course and institutional outcomes and how they were met in this project. So the very first one is information literacy and communication, and this was definitely utilized by the virtual library that Brandon Stratton has offered for on campus and as well as off campus, as well as using Google Scholar to just find like general pieces of information that I wanted to cover and just kind of get like ideas for what I wanted my paper to be, and then using the virtual library as an actual source for where I retrieved all of my articles. Google Scholar is more of like the big picture, trying to narrow it, and then the virtual library I used as, okay, I already narrowed it down, now it's really pinpointing exactly what I want to hit with my topics. And then relational learning is, I think I've hit this with my experience of being a CNA and tying it into my discussion posts and reflecting on, well, this is what I've seen in my day-to-day practice, and this is what we are talking about within class, and kind of bridging that gap to ensure that what I'm actually learning in the real world is tying into what I'm learning, because if you don't make that connection, it's never going to stick and you're never going to learn and grow from that. Next is thinking abilities, which is trying to reflect on learning and practice to better improve yourself throughout the rest of your career. And this is in the reflections that we do every single week, where we talk about how our interactions with our peers and with our professor have influenced our writing. And then we also briefly touch on what can the professor do, aka Dr. Schultz, do to better ensure that our writing not only is just for the classroom setting, but also will carry us over into our future careers. And we do that every single week, and it's honestly been such a great tool for me to settle down and really think about what I have learned throughout that week. Next is quantitative and scientific reasoning, and this was better reflected in our last week, where we took an article that had data or analytics percentages, and we talked about why some of them are actually like backed by scientific data and that we can actually verify and prove, and where there's others where they're just using it for fluff. They're using it to make their product better. They're making it so that it makes their company look better. So for example, in mine, I talked about how vaping or flavored tobacco products would correlated to people who later on in their life use regular tobacco products. And then another one of my peers used the article about like Activia, which is a yogurt company, and how they fluffed up their data to make it seem like their product was doing more than it actually was. And lastly is community and career, and how this would have individual growth and function as a citizen in a multicultural world. Again, being as a nurse, this will definitely carry on into the rest of my career because I'm always interacting with different patients from many different cultures, from many different economic backgrounds than my own, and just trying to figure out the way to professionally conduct myself, but also keeping in mind that everybody doesn't come from the same background, the same cultures, things like that. And then lastly is workplace capability. And the one that I specifically chose is about communication and interpersonal skills, because I think that these two really do go hand in hand. Is that you need to have proper communication skills and proper interpersonal skills for you to interact with your patients, to interact with fellow coworkers, and doctors. And if your communication is not very good, then your interpersonal skills are not going to be good as well. And if both of those are also lacking, then your problem solving, whether it be a patient is coding and you're not communicating the proper information to the doctor, then obviously that patient's not going to get the proper care that they need. So making sure that all three of those really do intertwine with each other, and those are the three that I picked from the workplace capabilities. I thank you so much for watching my video. Bye.